Now that we have our first flower pretty much based in, I'm going to move over to my second square. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stem and duplicate it. Duplicate layer. Okay. I'm going to drag that down here. I'm going to name it stem 2. I'm going to take my selection, I'm going to hit the shift key and I'm going to drag it over. Okay, I'm going to center it just about there. I am going to zoom in just a bit so we can do our flower. And we're going to try and do a different shape now. We're going to take our pen tool, our vector tool, one point, and I'm going to drag. I'm going to drag right across so that it's level, like so. I'm going to start with my second point, and I'm going to drag so that that is also level. And I'm going to finish it off with a click. Okay, so now we have this sort of egg shape. Okay, but I'm going to come down here to my convert point tool. I'm going to find that point, and I'm going to click it just like that. Okay, now we have our pointed flower petal. I'm going to pull that up, make it a little bit longer, and make this a little bit fatter, just like that. I'm going to take the whole thing, I'm going to move it down a bit. Okay, now we basically want to do the same thing we did before in duplicating our layer and transforming. Move that marquee down to the bottom and rotate. Now I'm going to add a lot more petals than we had before. Hit enter. Okay, we want these closer together. You can even make a tulip, which is what that looks like there. Duplicate, transform, don't forget to move the pivot. Rotate, enter. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create the foreground petals of this flower. These are the background petals. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate the last petal we made, which is this one here, and I'm going to transform that. I'm going to move my pivot again to the center and rotate. And I want to switch the color, so I'm going to click on this thumbnail here, and I'm going to select that original stem color that we used and hit OK. Okay? Okay, now we have two distinct flowers. Now what we can do is create the leaves for this flower here. I guess this would be kind of a dahlia shape. If you wanted, you can even change the color of each individual petal. For instance, let's move this to the front because it's the foreground petal. Let's move it down just a bit and change the color. So we would double click on its color thumbnail and we could lighten it up just the tiniest bit, like so. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all our light petals together as one. Now, of course, what we can do is create a smart object. Now, of course, what we can do is create a smart object with the light, smart object with the dark, or the background and the foreground. Just like so. Okay, great. Let's zoom in here.